Well, it's a dawn of another shit show. There's 3 projects to do in this. The auxiliary fuel pump isn't working properly. I gotta get the wiper washer thing taken care of. And an O2 sensor. First one might be easier. Because I have this farm jack on the hood. And I noticed the other day when I was out in the wilderness, when I spray the washers, well, it hits the bar here. It could be as simple as just flipping the farm jack around because it's only getting the lower part of the window. The other issue is the auxiliary fuel pump. So, according to this, it says my auxiliary fuel pump is like half full. Can you hear that sound? When it's fast like that, it's not really pumping. So we're gonna need to investigate that. And it's a secondary O2 sensor. A couple of years ago I replaced the first sensor. This time it's the second sensor. Doesn't surprise me though. 200 and some thousand kilometers on this Jeep. Sensor's gonna start wearing out. Things are gonna start needing to be replaced. Just is what it is. Just got the camera mounted there just so I can show you guys. These suicide jacks are not to be reckoned with. I took a beating by one before. Hand slipped off and she started just cranking down. Yep, got a couple good beats. I got this high lift extreme farm jack from Princess Auto probably about 10 years ago. Oh yeah. What's nice about the ARB bumper is that it's got the jacking holes for the high lift jack. There we go. I just gotta get my big jack underneath the frame now. Because that auxiliary fuel pump is underneath the drive shaft. And since I got dual fuel tanks, I can't get my hands up in there. So I gotta raise it up so the drive shaft drops down so I can get up in there. So these big reds were another Princess Auto buy. I'm actually not even sure if Princess Auto even carries these anymore. Even though I'm not technically lifting the rear tires off the ground, I did put a wheel chock in the front. Just to be on the safe side. Well, she's jacked up. I'll see if I can get my big sausage hands in there now. So underneath there's your factory fuel tank. That's the Long Range America fuel tank. And while other famous YouTubers are going off about these, this is probably one of the first ones in North America that were installed. My buddy flew over to Australia about 10 years ago and had to pick it up and fly it home on the plane because they would not ship it to Canada. So this Long Range USA tank is 10 years old, and that's where the fuel pump is. I need to remove the suction line, pull that filter off, and see if it's clogged up. Alright, I got the hose off. There's a little bit of gas in there. Not much though. I need to pull the fuel cap. Excuse me. So I'm going to blow air into the line, see if there's a blockage. So, fuel line is definitely not plugged. I got the fuel filter out. We're just going to spray some cleaner and stuff in there. Gently blow some air through it. Well, if you can see, we're all connected, so I guess we'll try it, see if we can catch prime, and see what happens. So this is where the fun begins. With the farm jack, lifting it up is the easy part. Actually, I think I'm going down. I need to go up so I can get it off the jack. Just hold on. Just hold on. I gotta twist this jack out. And then we can be set. So this is where the danger begins. Under no circumstances do you ever let go of this handle while it's underweight, taking it down. Never stand in front of it, because if you release your weight while it's coming down, it will beat you and show you no mercy. Yeah, just to age myself here, I grew up in an era where all vehicles in the 70s, I think even some in the early 80s, came with farm jack type jack and vehicles. I had 1976 Pontiac Le Mans sports coupe that had one. It was like a poor man's farm jack, and they would just have little notches in the bumper that you would stick it and jack it up. It wasn't until like modern days where you have the other jack, which is, a lot safer for the most part. All right, I need to put that in position. This one here is under a lot of weight because it's lifting up the whole back end of the Jeep. But we are coming down safely and we're out. We live to see another day. I got powered on, but it doesn't say any fuel readings. Yeah. It's got prime now. It's pumping now. Well, that's a good sign. I know I got prime now because when I turned on the pump, it had that loud sound. And then as soon as it started sucking in fuel, I don't know if the camera picked it up, but the tone of the pump changed. So now I know the pump has suction, and I should say the pump has prime. It's pumping, and I should be good now. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was. Maybe the intake tube sucked up a bunch of crap down there at the bottom of the tank and just had to blow it out. Either way, I think we're back in business. Okay, we're going to try this again. See if the washer sprayers will work. Yeah. I can live with that. Sprays the windshield. That's all that matters. Well, that's 2 projects taken care of. I think tomorrow I'm going to change the rear differential oil as well, because I did the 1,000 kilometer braking oil change, and gears take more than 1,000 kilometers just to fully break in. They're always wearing. So when I dump it tomorrow, there's going to be a shitload of metal filings in there for sure, guaranteed. And I'll do a proper inspection of it, make sure everything's still looking good. So I just picked up this bad boy used today. This is a 223 Savage Axis 110 in an MDT frame. It's got a Vortex 4-12 scope. Nice little bolt action, adjustable cheek rest. I'd be looking forward to trying this out. So now I'm going to share a little story with you about this Country Smokers portable pellet grill that I got from Cabela's last night. Yeah, I almost burnt it to the ground. Not because of a problem of its own, a problem of myself. So what happened was, because I'm always carrying it in and out and everything else, somehow a wood chunk, I don't know how, a little piece of wood like that, got stuck in the fan. So the bowl had filled completely up full of wood and wasn't burning. I was like, okay, something's wrong, something's wrong. So I removed the 6 screws from the panel, moved the panel, spun the fan, all of a sudden wood chunk came out, fan started blowing. Well, within a few seconds, all ignited and there's flames coming up. That's why you see all the white stuff there, and there used to be a whole bunch of grease in there. Well, all the grease caught on fire, and let it cool down for like an hour, then I fired it up. So I'm gonna fire it up again today, and we're gonna make sure that it still works properly, because she got hot, like really hot. Yeah, the temperature on the front was like 650 degrees. I opened up the lid to get the temperature down. It was crazy. Get those bad boys on there, 25 minutes. Slowly lower this down on some jack stands. It's gonna be a hot day, but the show must go on. Trusty old Powerfish jack and jack stands, 10 years old, still going strong. Gotta get this project done, and then the O2 sensor, then we're finished. Gear oil stinks to high heavens, so if you're sensitive to smells, gear oil might not be your friend. So I got a lube locker gasket, which is really nice because it is reusable. There we go, have a look. All 12,000 kilometers since I changed gears, at least. Yeah, got a big metallic flower right there of metal filings that the magnet has picked up. So put the magnetic plug back in the bottom. That is a lube locker reusable gasket. They work amazing. I highly recommend them instead of using like silicone. However, if you don't plan on taking your cover off very often, it's not worth it because they are pretty pricey, and a tube of silicone goes a long ways, especially in today's world. I'm just going around and hand tightening some of them. These are super fine, so you don't want to go too tight. It says we're going to take about 2.4 liters. I got some AMSOIL 80W90 that we're going to add in. Nice about the bags is that you don't need any kind of funnel. I wasn't on the ball there. I spilled some. There's the gear oil right there. Two in, another half. We're gonna check it, make sure we're good. Fucking miss. So it should be probably like right about there. Yeah, good right there. power fish jack came in handy, especially when I had to do the transmission in my Jeep TJ, where I bought that adapter. Yeah, that was awesome. Lower that down. Then we're done. That project's taken care of. Now I gotta deal with that O2 sensor, and Rock Auto shipped it overnight. Got an NTK here, and that'd be the second sensor on that side replaced. First one was sensor 1. This is sensor 2. We're gonna hook up the scanner to it. We're gonna figure out if it's a hard code or if it's just something that was triggered and not a hard code. And I'm gonna pull out this topped on scanner here. I'm gonna pull out the Bluetooth module. They just did a firmware update, so it's got all new software, so I'm looking forward to try this out. Wait for the tablet to boot up. We gotta press auto scan once I get in there? I guess I do. I would have been sitting there forever. So 1 code so far. Alright, let's go PCM. Read TTCs. O2 sensor high. See what this repair guide says. Oh, it's connecting to the internet. What's it gonna say? Possible causes. Could be shorted. I like that. Gives you a troubleshooting, checking everything. Let's look at some of the data here. 1, 2, minus 64, 1, 2, 5 volts. Underneath this looks like I got a couple there. That and then get that fender out. So that's the sensor I replaced a couple of years ago. And that's the other one. Looks like it's in real good shape. No chafing of the wires. I don't know how easy on a cold engine it's going to be to try to get that out. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a real treat trying to get in there. Not going to see because of my big mitts in there. So got the electrical connection off. So I got the 7/8 O2 sensor socket I purchased a long time ago. I'm going to see if we can get this to work. Trying to get these off. Usually on a cold engine doesn't work that well. These things are installed. I gotta get a better angle. Got her out, and oops, the process and how I did it was questionable at best. So I used the O2 socket. First I used this 3/8, not enough force. I grabbed the 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, used this big long breaker bar Titan from Princess Auto. Put that bad boy on there, and Gave her a good reef, and I heard something snap, and I thought for sure this broke off inside, but it came out. I'm gonna put the new one in. That's the new one. We got some anti-seize threads on there. I'm gonna try to reach in there. I know people like the B-roll, but sometimes you gotta understand that you're not always gonna get the B-roll where you're at because it's so tight. Yeah, so tightened her up. There we are, plugged in and installed. Underskirt back in. Whole job took about 45 minutes. Just transferring some fuel over, see how long it takes. Where I start to notice a difference. It's definitely transferring fuel like it should now. Not like before. Seemed to take forever. I think that's something I'm gonna have to do yearly, is just take it apart, clean it, throw it back in, because she's really working. Shit show's back in the garage after taking her out for a little rip earlier. She seems to be going good. So you know what time it is? It's motherfucking beer time. That's what time it is. Boiling Ore, Hazy Pale. It's my new go-to brewery in Southeast Calgary. Awesome. Made an effort this week to stop in. There was a short set of days off. Motherfucking beer time, everybody. It was my short set this week, 4 days off. First day is kind of a waste because you spend it sleeping. Up at like 2 o'clock. Not really kind of in it. Adjusting back to days. Following day, went out to the wilderness. Shot some firearms. Still got to figure out that issue with the high scope, wide shooting high. I might make some shims and see if I could shim that cantilever. And then the following day, today was working on the Jeep, fixing all those deficiencies. Everything's good to go right now. However, there's still a fire ban on, so I won't be going out in the wilderness, do any camping anytime soon. If the fire ban keeps up, I might just go to a campground to get my fix, but it is what it is. I'm gonna have a fire, smoke a cigar, because I go back to work tomorrow for 5 days, and then I'm off for 5 days. So, gotta make the best of it. The hotter and drier it is, the easier it is to get a fire going.